welcome to the Shelley Studio, and this is the third of my shadow box bank art. And this one is for my cousin Allison, and I really didn't know what to do for her, but I really liked the idea of travel, and I know red's more her favorite color, but I didn't want to do red. So we are going to do purple and blue, and yeah, and I found some papers that this is paper from Canvas Corp, I believe. Either that or clearance rack at Michael's. And I wanted to add some color to it, and so I'm just using craft acrylic paint, getting it pretty wet and making it sort of a wash, but kind of streaky, making it interesting, just to incorporate some of that color. I decided hers would be travel themed, and I decided she's kind of a city girl. If she hears this, she might question that, but I think she's a city girl. Alright, so this one's a little warped because of the watercolor, so I'm going to have to do more than just tape around the edges with this one. So I use the score tape really close to the edge because we want to get this nice and flat. And then I'm going to use a glue stick all over the back as soon as I get that cover off of the score tape. I always have a hard time with that. Some people use pokey tools, but I've tried that too, and I'm just not that skilled. So this is Elmer's Extreme, and we're going to put that on. And I try to get that lined up, and just using an old card to smooth it down so that there's no air bubbles. Missed a spot apparently. And then there's some edges, and so that it goes in the frame easy, I'm just going to trim those off with an X-Acto knife. There we go. Almost all the way around. Okay. Alright, so we've got that done. I don't know why I always have to look to see if it fits back in. Maybe I just want to see it framed, I don't know. Alright, so we're going to do hers, and I'm first putting a coat of white gesso on, and then letting it dry, just because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, and the other colors will flow across the surface easier. When it's directly to the wood, it soaks in really fast. So I was hoping this will make it easier to blend the colors, because I've decided I'm going to do the purple and the blue. And you probably didn't need to see me do the whole thing, but there it is. Alright, so while that's drying, I'm going to put some white on. This is her word, she loves this word. So on believe. And now we're going to go in and add the purple. And I wasn't sure at this point what I was going to do, but I did the dark inside and blended it with the brush, and I kind of liked that, so I did that for a little while. And then I just decided it looked smeary, so I started doing other things to it. Yep, and I had to show you the whole thing there too. So that could be good for a nice soft pastel, but then I decided, nah, we're just gonna get it all colored here. And I think once you get the general idea, I'm gonna fast forward this, maybe skip a little bit, so you don't have to sit through the entire painting of the box. Okay, so now the purple is on. We are going to add some blue. Cleaning off the brush a little bit. And we're just going for a shabby chic. Alright, so I did that part, and now we're going to take this off. And looking at the frame, I decided it needed more, so we are taking some Payne's Gray, and we're just gonna maybe darken the edges, add a few dark streaks in there. And get that all covered. So once I get that on there, I feel like it needs a little more intensity. So I'm taking more of that purple, filling up a little bit of the white too, if there's too much white in places. And sorry, my head gets in there. There we go. So now we are going to figure out what we're going to put on top of our scrapbook paper, and I really had a hard time deciding what I wanted to do. Pulling things out of my collection of stuff. You know, I watch videos too, and I watch people and they talk about their stash, and I'm like, man, they've got a huge stash. But from this series of videos, it looks like I have a huge stash. I think my family that I live with probably thinks I have a huge stash. But it's really not that much stuff, really. In relationship to everybody else that I watch on YouTube. Alright. So we're decorating our little tag, and yes, it has to have a ribbon. Just don't know how that's gonna work. And then we're gonna tape and glue, I believe, the back of this tag to make sure it is secure. So this time I'm pulling out the Aleene's tacky glue. Put some on there and smooth it out. There we go. I'm putting it in. Yay. Now we're gonna do the little things on the front. So I've got another butterfly from Michaels. I think that's the last of my butterflies. No, maybe I have one more. I think I have one more. I'm giving it another coat of gesso to try and lighten up that believe, because the wood was so dark. I really want the paint to show up bright on it. So I'm using my pokey tool to poke the paint out of the holes on the butterfly. Clean up the edges a little bit, kind of messy looking. Do the same thing for the word. Okay, now that they're dry, we're going to add the colors that I used on the box. I'm just trying to use them in an interesting way this time. It's got a little stripy thing going on there. hard to get a straight edge with the sponge. Trying to define that butterfly's body. Gonna have to fix that. There we go. Paintbrush is much easier for control. Oh yeah. And I just cleaned that off onto the back of my journal. Why not? I don't know, I felt like I wanted some other color in there, so try to put a little bit of yellow. I don't think it's really noticeable, and then once I cover it, because I am covering it with a layer of Tim Holtz tissue, and I want to make sure it's nice and see-through, so I haven't really coated it. So we can still see the color, but we get that map effect, which is kind of cool. So now that it's dry, the only way I could think of to cut around this was with my X-Acto knife. And it was definitely not perfect. And that's a lot of fiddling. I think we'll speed to the end. Alright, there we go. And I think I decided, or did I poke the holes in the... I don't think so. I think I just coated again to make sure all the edges are sealed down. And I don't think I bothered poking the holes. Those little holes where the yellow paint was. Yeah. There we go. And I guess I decided that it needed to be a little Payne's Gray grungy like the frame. So I'm just adding a little Payne's Gray with a sponge and a brush. And going around the edges. And then I'm going to go around the edges on the butterfly as well. There we go. Okay, so now we can assemble the last little bits onto our frame. Come on, glue, come out. And again, glossy accents on the word to glue it onto the glass. And I will put a playlist with the 3 videos that I created if you're interested in seeing the other 2. And that one is complete. What do you think? Yeah, I think that one's my favorite. Well, I hope you liked it. If you did like it, please hit like, feel free to share, comment, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.